And I remember we were talking over the summer, you were talking about how painful it is for you to disappoint customers based on what's happening with shipping right now. That doesn't seem to be easing. How long does it look like this problem is going to persist, and what can technology do to solve it?
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me back on. I may allow making predictions about the future when there's so many complicated variables. It's just harder than ever right now in global logistics in particular. I don't have a really strong opinion. I don't see a lot of mechanisms that are clear for clearing this backlog at the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach in particular. Yeah, we've brought down the number, but there's still 56 container ships waiting out there. There should be 0. And what's happening right now is that they're actually introducing fines so that if you don't pick up your container from the port on time, you get hit with these charges that after 30 days go to $46,000 per container. For context, a container typically has about $100,000 worth of goods inside of it. So you're talking about 50% inflation for everything, because that's where everything comes from, is on these ocean containers. So it just seems like it's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm not convinced these fines are going to help anything. There's a big role for technology to play. I'm glad you asked me that. Right now, when a trucker one of the problems is at the gate of these port terminals. If a trucker wants to go pick up a container, they have to bring a specific container number. And then that container has to be dug up from the bottom of the pile and brought to the front to give to that truck driver. If we adopt technology, this is easy. The technology already exists. Flexport has built this technology. Allow you, the truck driver, just to come, and we'll give the truck driver a container, and the mobile app will tell the truck driver where to take it. And if the recipient's not ready, we need a yard off-site so we can clear out this terminal and clear the backlog.
Yeah. So this sounds like a port version, like a huge version of what we've seen in the e-commerce driven warehouse that Amazon and so many others have made popular. You don't run that in an assembly line linear way, the way perhaps was done in the past. This is Cloud Week, so how much room is there for the adoption of enterprise software, tracking technologies that are enabled by the cloud to speed the process of making these ports more efficient?
I think that the technology is the relatively easy part. It's about adopting it is trickier, because you've got to redo the contract relationship. So like somebody has contracted that trucker to move their container, and they would have to change that relationship to say, hey, whoever brings me the container is fine. By the way, customers will be totally fine with that right now. They just want their containers. So that's, I think that it's doable, but there's not like a single person in charge here. So you've got to convince lots of different parties to change the way they're working. That's always pretty hard. I really like the e-commerce analogy. I think these are obviously very closely related industries. And one fact right now is we don't have enough warehouse space in the United States to keep up with all this demand. So we estimate there's about 40 million square feet of warehouse space short. And we have a shortage of 40 million square feet of warehouse space in the United States. Well, just offshore, off the coast of LA, there's about 60 million square feet worth of merchandise. So you've just got a problem. Where are we going to put all this stuff?
Ryan, good morning. It's Deirdre. Good to see you. We heard from the big retail chains over the last few weeks amid their earnings, and they have fared relatively better given the supply chain disruptions. I know that Flexport has had a lot of the newer, younger direct-to-consumer names as customers. How are they and some of the other smaller retailers faring or navigating these bottlenecks?
It's harder for small businesses in general because they don't have the clout. A big company, you've seen it with Walmart, Costco, they went out and chartered their own ships to get capacity. Walmart got some, I saw recently, just got a huge yard in Southern California to store containers. Small companies don't have these options. So that's one thing I'm really proud of at Flexport, that we help these smaller, faster growing companies sort of lobby on their behalf, make sure they get taken care of, make sure they get space, et cetera. But it is a harder problem for small business than it is big companies that have the clout with the owners of the ships and others in the chain.